That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
Hey guys, Chris here from Cohesive Friendship Unit. I am with Jeremy.
Hey yo.
And Brian.
What's going on?
Tonight we are going to be talking about Resident Evil 7 coming to Switch, but with a horrifying twist. But first, if you like our content, please give us a like. If you'd like to talk with us, have a nice little conversation down below in the comments, shoot us a comment down below, and if you love us, please sub us.
But it better be a nice conversation.
Better be.
Better be nice.
Yeah.
Civil, too.
Okay, so here's the rundown. Resident Evil 7 has actually already launched on the Switch in Japan, but it's a 45 megabyte download to a cloud streaming service, and you pay an installation fee, a subscription fee, for 180 days of use, and you have to be connected to the internet, connected to the servers to play the game. If you lapse on your payment and you didn't finish the game, they may or may not delete your save file. And that's kind of where we're at right now. That's the high level.
So it's like renting a fucking game from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Which was a place.
Except they take your they take your memory card and they smash it with a hammer when you
in front of you.
In front of you. Yeah.
And then if you go on vacation, you can't take it with you. If you go someplace there's no Wi-Fi and no internet, you're fucked.
Yeah, so I think this would have maybe been passable on a home console. But I think the Switch is literally the worst possible platform they could have done this with.
Agreed.
Well, and people don't like shit like this. Like if you look at not necessarily like a game streaming service, but like DRM, like the third-party DRM shit that you have to be plugged in all the time for it to work, and like there's a lot of pushback against that, and this is just kind of that in a different case, you know. They want their buck and they know how they're gonna get it, but I ain't buying it.
So I'm actually a little upset because there've been a lot of rumors about Resident Evil 7 coming to the Switch, and I actually was kind of holding out for it to come to the Switch to play it.
You're a big Resident Evil fan.
Yeah, and 7, I mean, this one actually I played the demo and it took way too long. I was scared. I was shook, dude. I was shook. But this is a game that, one, I was looking at the system requirements. It's not particularly demanding. It has a really good art direction that makes the visuals very strong, but it's not a very
intensive game.
It's not an intensive game. And on top of that, there's a PSVR port of it, PSVR support, where they've essentially already downscaled the visuals people describe it as looking like a PS3 game. So from that perspective, it seems like they already have some form of scalable visuals. Also, so the PS4 is running this watered-down version of the game at 60 frames per second. It seems like this was achievable, and there was a bit of sloth, laziness coming in, preventing this from happening properly.
I think this is officially a problem for the Switch.
I'm worried about it.
Well, I think the streaming thing.
Third-party developers officially do not want to develop for the Switch, which why the fuck would they? It's totally different from the other.
Because it's totally different. That it's not going to be
racing. It's a huge pain in the ass for them.
Yeah, but it gives you more opportunities. This is not the right way to exploit that, though.
No, I agree. For a developer that's specifically looking to do something different, to make something for the Switch uniquely, but in terms of just AAA, games that are coming to Xbox, that are coming to PlayStation, that are coming to PC, it officially seems like it's too big of a pain in the ass for them to do it. Certainly, day and date, and now even... How long has Resident Evil been out?
A while.
Ballpark?
Well, call it early 2016, hopefully.
Oh, for fuck's
sake. Maybe
sake.
early 2017. It was before the Switch.
Year and a half ago?
At least. Yeah.
So a game that's been out for a year and a half, as you said, been out in a few iterations, they didn't feel like it was worth the effort to make this happen in such a way that they could sell it for the Switch.
Could just be a cash grab. This could just be them poking their... And again, this is, at the moment, Japan exclusive.
Of course it's a cash grab. It's a fucking business. Everything is a cash grab.
Yeah.
But they clearly feel like they're better off doing it this way than actually developing a real game for the Switch. They think this is a way that they're going to be able to make more money.
But this is the worst platform to do that.
No, agreed. But like, this is what they felt. This is the amount of effort they felt was worth it for the Switch. You know what I mean? I don't think they were like, oh, I have this brilliant creative idea that's like really in tune with the direction of this game. We'll make them stay at home and pay us a monthly fee. That I clearly think is not where their headspace was. They were like, we'll let the people on the Switch play it if they download this thing and they play it from, like, basically on wireless. They stream it from our servers.
Well, and not to mention that they're competing with Nintendo's own service that they want to roll out, because Nintendo wants to do a stream service as well.
Well,
it's going to be messy. This is going to be a mess.
But I'm just saying, I don't think this portends well for the future of third-party titles on Switch. I think we had bad omens of that in the past few weeks, and I think that this really doubles down on them. What was the title that we had been talking about either 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Chris?
So actually, well,
third-party titles?
I think we're talking Dark Souls. I think that's what you want.
Yeah,
Dark Souls was delayed for Switch, and it launched with everybody else. It was supposed to go day and date. It failed to meet that. But, I mean...
And there have been a few other titles that we discussed in conjunction with that.
Yeah, but, I mean, if we're going to... And I know that some of these aren't necessarily day and date, but at least one of them are. If we're going to talk this month alone, we're getting the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, which is day and date with Xbox and Steam, which is nice. We're getting Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which that's the one that's not day and date.
Yeah, that's been out for almost a year.
Yeah. And then there's another smaller third party, but yeah, it's not... We don't have
Crash Bandicoot
Fortnite
is
is not on the
PlayStation
Switch.
1
Jesus
game.
Christ, Fortnite is not on the Switch.
It was Fortnite. So, I think this is officially a problem. Like, I think this is... in itself is stupid.
It's a problem if you look at it in the sense that game developers look at developing. Like, it's minimal effort now. How many, like, games that have come out in the past 2 or 3 years that have been groundbreaking? Like, there haven't really been.
Zelda.
That's not groundbreaking. That's an extension of a franchise that was pretty good. Okay, so Zelda. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, all you see is kind of just the same warmed over shit. Like, it's Halo 6, which is a reboot of Halo 3. And, like...
It's gonna be fun.
It's
Brian's
like
calling it.
It's all the same fucking stuff. Like, if you want to take a risk and say, hey, we have this hardware that's got a lot of capabilities that aren't really video game. Well, I'm looking at kind of the Labo stuff.
Right.
Like, you could go into that as a first party and clean the fuck up. Buy a laser cutter, write some stupid cheat code that kids can play around with, put it on a nasty tasting SD card, and ship that shit. Sell it for $75, and you will be laughing all the way to the bank. Like, it's not in the sense of developing a video game, quote unquote video game for the Switch. Yeah, it's a disaster because it's not really a traditional console.
Right.
Which, I mean, I think
that's the
I
upside.
see what you're saying. It is. It's a double-edged sword. I see what you're saying, that like you don't want to put in a lot of resources into something like that, but at the same time, they're kind of breaking the mold.
For sure.
Nintendo's, at the very least, Nintendo's off doing their own thing, and for them, it seems to be working.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised Nintendo allows this. It does seem to, like, scream in the face of what the Switch stands for. To me, this feels like turning the Switch into a Wii U, where with the Wii U, you were bound to the console. In the Switch, if you want to play Resident Evil 7 handheld, you're at least bound to very, very strong Wi-Fi. You're not playing this at McDonald's. You're not playing this at the hotel Wi-Fi.
Right,
you're playing this in home Wi-Fi, extremely
5G.
Fast. No, this is... Streaming services are notorious for being...
No, of course.
Meh.
And what if like the power goes out, so you just want to play some video games, but the Wi-Fi's out because the power's out? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think that streaming services are a mistake for video games. However you do it, like,
there's input lag. At the end of the day, there's input lag.
Yeah. Like, I can see you get a copy and then you return it, but like streaming the entire game is not gonna be good.
Agreed.
Not gonna be good.
I think, Chris, you said you were surprised that they allowed this. I think that they allowed it so that they can... I think they're trying to fend off for as long as possible the perception that they don't have third-party
Just get third-party on the console.
Yeah, they want to be able to say to Switch owners, like, oh, you can play Resident Evil 7.
Or they could be using
You just have to
them as-
play this, like, really fourth-rate version of it.
They could be using them as a lightning rod to try out the reception for, you know, because it's an older game that it's like if it flops, nobody's really going to care. And they're trying this service that Nintendo also wants to roll out, a streaming game service. If it goes up with Resident Evil 7 and people are like, yeah, we fucking hate this, like, that might play into Nintendo's...
So the difference with Nintendo service, and I would be okay with this if it was, especially because it's a single player game. The thing with Nintendo service is you pay for the service and then you download and play the games locally.
So it's not streaming, it's like a rental more.
Yeah, you're renting it. You're renting a license to play the games. Whereas this Resident Evil...
But how strongly is that tied to having an active internet connection? Or is it
It's
once
not.
you download
Once you
it, you're all
download it,
set?
I think it's probably similar to like offline Spotify, where like once a month
You have to check
back in.
But effectively, it's
yeah.
yours as long as you stay within those confines. It's like you had a physical copy.
Until you cancel your...
Right, or until you retire.
Yeah. Which, I mean, But the flip side of that is you would actually have to develop the game to be able to run on the Switch. Like, in this way, Resident Evil 7 is running in a server farm in Japan instead of running locally on your Switch.
As you said before, Resident Evil 7, like we know they can turn the graphics down, and like it has that capability.
Yet they didn't do it.
Right. Which
Right,
is what
but what I'm saying is like I think the Switch is more capable than, like, it can't push 4K, but like it's not a wet noodle, you know, like it's got some hardware in it.
You can play Doom and Wolfenstein 2.
Right. So like how big is the gap between developing something for the Xbox and developing something for the Switch? If you want to just develop a game. Right. I mean, it's not really a question that it's like a rhetorical question, you know. But I don't know. Like you're not designing a game for the Switch that like you're not going to design like it's 4K and everything is like that's not what the Switch does. So if you're designing that kind of game, you already don't care about the Switch. You know what I mean? Like because you're not going to play the Switch in a home theater.
But at the same point, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? Like we had.
They're selling a lot of fucking Switches.
No, but we had Dark Souls 3 drop out.
Dark Souls Remastered.
Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But we had Dark Souls drop out. We had, all these other titles that are years after the fact. We have this game which still isn't coming out. So I agree. It's like what's necessarily. I don't know a lot about computers. I'm not a video game designer, but like clearly it seems to be prohibitively difficult to do because they're not doing it.
I mean, I don't know a lot about computers either. My mom's got one at home. She put a couple of games on it, but I think that it's more of a political thing. I don't think it's a question of not having the hardware. I think it's Nintendo's kind of off doing their own thing, and you know, the rest of the industry seems to be content to just let them do their own thing, and effectively they can because they're doing pretty well at it. No?
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts? I think we're pretty good. I think we're covered. I think we're a little tilted. I'm tilted. I want to play Resident Evil 7, not on a fucking server.
I can't. I'm too scared.
All right, Brian, you want to tell the boys and the girls what's what?
Well, what's what right now is I'm wiping up some beer off the floor. I'm going to actually let you guys know, I know I usually try to go a little bit humorous with these, but I'm going to let you guys know something crazy that we're coming up with right now as we speak. We're actually, speaking of streaming, coming up with a service, or a website, if you will, where you'll be able to stream all of the videos that we have ever made for free. Okay, so if you go ahead and click that subscribe button, you'll be able to see
Get in on that.
to get in on that action, early access on that free video streaming service online that we're gonna have.
Yeah, guys, let us know down in the comments what you
It's
would
gonna be
name
nice.
this website, and we will.
I think we should call it YouBoob because like boob tube, you know. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time.